Tarisland beta is getting closer. Again, it's coming out in November and they said to have an announcement ready in October. So it should be any day now, hopefully the week coming. But we have some more news. Some bad news, but also some good news for you guys. So let's jump into it. All right, guys. So first of all, we have some bad news, and that is it seems like this beta will also not be available for iOS players. I saw it in an announcement from one of the mods. There's no fully confirmation yet, but it seems like that seems to be the case. And you guys are probably wondering, why is it not for iOS? Now I can get into like the nitty-gritty of it, the details of it, but simply said, iOS is way harder to actually get a beta on. They have a lot of like requirements you need to meet. You have to like apply early on. There's basically a long process if you want to get a beta on iOS and through Apple, because they're very strict with it. That's probably why they don't have a beta for iOS yet. So it is disappointing. I was really hoping to get a beta for iOS, because this basically means that they will have to have another beta in the future to test out how it works on the iOS devices. So right now it will only be available for Android and PC, unfortunately. For now, if there's any changes, I'll let you guys know. Now let's talk about the beta real quick. There's been some news about the beta, some adjustments they're making in for the content that's releasing, and just have some small announcements here and there. Most likely they will be announcing the date of the beta this coming week, which will be the last week of October, or almost the last week of October. But most likely we're gonna get an announcement this week, so I'll be letting you guys know. But let's talk about the update real quick, because there's been some stuff, there's been some news about this that they have officially launched. There's also been some leaks. As a content creator, it's my job to talk about these leaks for you guys, even though it's they haven't officially said anything. I'll let you guys know. But let's talk about what we do know, what is official. So they talked about the update right here, and they talk a lot about the PvE content of this game, because like I said in my last video, the PvE content is what they're going to focus on when it comes to Tarisland. That's like their main thing, and then like the PvP and everything else comes after. And they talked about a lot of like the stuff for PvE, a lot of changes when it comes to PvE. They're changing, this is a big thing, a major thing. They changed a lot of not only the bosses, like they did a lot of adjustments to the bosses HP, bosses attack, bosses skill damage and stuff in the PvE content, but they also made a lot of changes to the classes, like class specializations that we have, like secondary attribute types. So that's gonna be very interesting. I do not like to see that they're nerfing it so hard, because I have to say from my experience, most of the content was fairly doable. Of course, it requires you to pay attention and it requires some mechanics, but that's good thing. So I don't like them nerfing it this hard, but of course it's going to be a beta, so we'll have to give them feedback once the beta is done. If it's good or it's too easy, they make adjustments from there, but that's what they have changed. Now they also modified loot drops for PvE dungeons and raids. Now this is a good thing, but also a bad thing. The reason it's a good thing because we had a lot of struggles when we were playing tanks. I was not getting like tank loot, right? I guess getting DPS loot. If people playing healers, they're getting DPS sets, which doesn't make sense because they're never going to use them, right? So right now they made it easier, so it actually drops what you're playing. That's like the good thing about it, but the bad thing is it just makes it so that you get the best gear even faster and easier, which I don't like. The whole part of like grinding in MMO is the RNG. It plays a big role in MMOs overall, so we'll have to see how, if it's too easy, if you get the gear you want within like a few days, it kind of ruins the experience of like actually grinding for an MMO, right? So yeah, and now they have introduced, this is a good thing, they've introduced new difficulty level in raids. So they said that the raids might be were pretty hard. I don't know where they're getting the notion of the content being too hard. Like the beta test was pretty small and the population was pretty small, so of course the people that started the beta later were probably not able to progress as much, and we only got like a week of beta at most, right? But from their research, apparently the bosses were too hard, which doesn't make sense to me. But they introduced another difficulty. So instead of being normal and elite difficulty, they also have epic difficulty. So they also so for people that are competitive and like to play hardcore, there'll be like an epic difficulty, which will obviously you better loot, will be more difficult, will be more challenging. So this could be both a good thing and a bad thing. We'll have to see. Again, another beta, we'll have to give a lot of feedback. It's going to be most important when you guys play this beta. Give feedback of what you want, so they don't make assumptions, right? They have a new matching system for 5-player dungeons. Now this also didn't make much sense to me. I don't know how they want to do it, but they want to introduce a new way to matchmake basically. And there was already a matchmaking system, because there was a way where you could like queue up for different elite dungeons, like several dungeons at the time, and get in. But apparently they're making some changes to it and make it easier for people to queue up with randoms to challenge elite dungeons, which is a good thing. This is a great thing, you know. New matchmaking, 5-player dungeons. My question for them was, will they remove like the whole team up option for the 5-player dungeons, which means basically can you pre-make teams for this? Because it was kind of confusing, because they were saying like people were matching with their own friends and running these dungeons like hardcore players, but they said that you can do both. You can random queue, it will be easier to random queue, and it will be easier, and you can play with your friends, which is great. Next up, we have PvE achievements and rewards. Now this is a great thing, because I was talking about this last update that it's going to be very focused on casual players, but now they have also added stuff for competitive players, which will be PvE achievements and rewards. So rewards will include, so after completing certain achievements, players will receive unique rewards, which are going to be obtained in the current season right here. And these rewards will include full set costume, weapons, mat, accessories. So if you are grinding hardcore for the achievements, you'll get like unique sets, weapons, mat, etc. And every season there'll be new ones, so you can collect them. And this is like one of the rewards that they show is going to be like a flying mount, which is really cool. You guys can see right here. So this will be basically one of the achievement rewards. If you grind a lot, you can get these cool things, which I love, because this is what all MMOs are about, is get those rare collectibles, get those rare rewards. So here it says, whether you desire a unique weapon skin or a dream of riding one-of-a-kind mount. So unique weapon, that I didn't say skin here, might mean we get legendary weapons, which you'll only be able to get every season, right? So every season will probably be new legendary weapons that you guys can collect by playing hardcore, and you want to be collecting them all. Next up, this is the big change: inscribed stone skill and class adjustment. Now they're adding another skill to the bar, because we already have those skills that we have seen on the bar, but now they're adding another thing additional to it, which will be inscribed stone skill. So basically what this will be is every class will get a skill, and somebody leaked it for me from how it's shown. It's basically going to be like a skill that you guys can use every battle. It's not going to be like a skill with low cooldown. We have a longer cooldown, but you can make adjustment and specialize with them. If you want to go for a tanky skill, which will give you like probably some type of armor, or a heal skill, or a damage burst skill, so make it more interesting and make it more fun, and you have to cooperate with your team in a way better way, right? So that'll be great that they're adding on to the game. And they have make adjustments. I talked a little bit about it. I'll go through this. I'll fully go through it in the class video that we make for the beta. But basically they're buffing frost mages, which is great, easier to see damage, or redesign the ice mage, so you'll be able to see when you collect energy, and you can deal damage way better, right? And can deal more damage. Here it says Tame Beast Ranger, get a buff. Bards get a buff. I mean, the simplified Bard, I don't like that, because Bard was very like interesting class to play, and it was very strong, but they buffed it, and it seems like they're going for more of a support role on the bar, because they were dishing out some more DPS, so they might have made some changes right there. And then we have Frozen Barbarian Fighter, which is the tank. That Barbarian Fighter did okay, but it wasn't as strong as the Paladin and the Warrior tank, so they buffed the tank even more. So a lot of this stuff, they will share more content with us. But another thing that I want to kind of talk about is this thing. They announced Russell Brower. He has worked on a lot of games when it comes to music, composing music. So the game feels more immersive, and they have acquired him, and he has worked on some great games over time, the musical. So that, I think that's just a really good thing overall that I've acquired them. We get some really cool immersive music in the game, so it will feel way better when you're playing. Might hopefully make an iconic Tarisland music, I hope. Now these are the changes. Now let's jump into some leaks, because guys, I have some leaks for you guys. So in China, there's people that signed the NDA, so I wasn't able to get like the full information of what's going on, but they have basically tested some stuff, tested some classes and new systems. So what they said is they're going to be like a new gem system, or new gems in the game, which is good. But the big thing is a new class. So again, this is unconfirmed news called leaks. It might not happen. We might not get in the beta. We might not even get in the global launch. But from what I heard, there is a new class. It's going to be female, healer and DPS, a new healer and a DPS class, kind of like somewhere between like a druid or a warlock. That's what the explanation I got. He couldn't say much more because he was under NDA, of course, but I've talked about new classes. I talked about new classes early on where they teased them in the trailer. So hopefully we'll see a new class during the beta or during the global launch. But it's all really cool that they're working on new classes. They're working on new stuff. All of this is just great stuff for the game overall. But that is it for this time. Tarisland, some great news again coming from Tarisland. Unfortunately, not good news for iOS players, but guys, iOS players, I will be streaming this game every day. So just tune in and ask your questions. Again, I'm doing a Tarisland Q&A, so if you have any questions about Tarisland, ask me in the comments below and I'll answer everything. If it's game related, if it's launch related, if it's beta related, just ask me below. I'll get you guys all the answers that you guys need. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.